Okay, so what you might want to do is go ahead and take that column video, get your account set up with all of those columns, and then take a look at them as we're going to explain what each one of them means. So it'll be a little bit easier for you to kind of visualize all of this inside of your own account, especially if you have started running some ads and maybe you're returning back to this segment after you've done so to kind of analyze and understand. But go ahead and get your account set up as well. We've gotten you this far, so get all of those in place and then we'll go through and explain them. So we're going to start with kind of the basics. So reach is simply the number of individuals who saw your ads. And this does not denote any sort of action taken from your ad. So it could be on any of the different platforms, and can be looked at from the campaign level through the ad level, meaning you can see your reach based on the total campaign, based on that ad set, or based on the ad. But this is the sheer volume of people who have seen your ads. So in the larger picture, reach is not necessarily all that impactful. You could have your ad reach 20 people and make 5 sales, or you could have your ad reach 20,000 people and still only make 5 sales. So it's a really helpful indicator on, what your audience size is and kind of the accuracy of that audience. So next general metric is impressions. So in relation to reach, impressions means the number of times your ads were actually shown. So this means your ad could be shown to one person multiple times or just a single time. So again, impressions can be looked at from the campaign through the ad level, and impressions are another factor that aren't totally significant in the grand breakdown of your ad account. They are important to note again in the area of audience size, because if your impressions are very small, your audience may be too small. Next in our basics is CPC, which just stands for cost per click. This simply means how much money did your Facebook and Instagram budget spend in order for someone to click on your ad. Your CPC will be given to you as the average across a specified amount of time, because sometimes you may get a click for 2 cents, and sometimes you may get a click for 50 cents. So CPC along with link clicks is an interesting metric to understand a little bit more about the public appetite for your product, as well as beginning to understand the cost it takes to acquire a new customer. So as a general rule of thumb, for most product-based ads, you want to look for a CPC that's below $1. This will make sure you're not overspending or outspending on sending new customers to your site. So if your cost per click is really high, that may mean that you're trying to go after the wrong audience. So you might be targeting wrong people, and therefore trying to get somebody in on your ad is really expensive. Next, right along with CPC, is link clicks, which we should maybe call a little bit more button clicks. It simply means how many times has someone clicked on the button on your ad. And link clicks are good to look at in relation to a couple of things, mainly into relation to the next metric we're going to talk about, which is landing page views. So landing page views stands and is slightly different from link clicks. When Facebook reports the metrics for link clicks, it doesn't necessarily matter if you've allowed the page to fully load, and landing page views means that someone has seen your ad, clicked on the button, and allowed it to load enough for a potential customer to see your web page that you've sent them to. So looking at landing page views and link clicks together is helpful in a variety of ways. The number one thing to take note of is if there's a huge drop off between link clicks and landing page views. This usually is a telltale sign that there's something going on with your site. So if people click on the link but don't get to the point where it's triggering a landing page view, you may need to step back and revisit your site in regards to things like your image sizing and lazy loading, as those pertain to how quickly your site pulls up the necessary information. So if there's a huge drop off, it might not be the ads so much as it is your actual website. CTR is the next one, and CTR stands for click-through rate. So CTR is calculated by dividing the reach by the number of link clicks. So there's a variety of industry standards for click-through rate based on your market and your industry. Generally, you'd like to see at least a 2% click-through for your ads. This both helps to indicate that you're targeting the correct audience and that the ad copy and creative and maybe your deal or promo that you're utilizing are effective. And then the last in our kind of basic metrics is frequency. So frequency is a measure of how often an individual is being served your ad. So this can be measured at the campaign level or all the way down to the ad level. If you have an ad set with a frequency of 3, that means the audience being targeted by that ad set is each seeing your ads around 3 times in whatever your given time frame is. So inside of your ad account in the upper right hand corner, there's a little calendar view. You can open that up and select your date range. They've got some selected ones, so you can do the past 30 days, the past 7 days, this month, last month, and you can also compare. So this frequency and all of these rates are only going to be given to you in whatever you select your time frame there. So if you begin over serving ads, there becomes a little bit of a level of inefficient spend on your part and a frustration on part of the consumer, which we talked about briefly. You want to cycle those ads about every 3 to 4 weeks. Otherwise, you start to run into issues with frequency. So you should generally aim to have a frequency of less than 5 over the course of about a 14-day period. If you're starting to push those limits, you either need to pull back on your spend or refresh your ads. And there's a kind of a caveat to this, and that's people who are being served ads at the bottom of the funnel, their frequency is going to be higher because that's a smaller pool of people, which is also why we have less budget at the bottom of the funnel. And that frequency is naturally going to be higher because those people have already gone to your site. They've already gone through the entire checkout process without actually checking out. So we're kind of a little bit hounding them. But outside of that, at the middle of the funnel and at the top of the funnel, we definitely want to try to keep that ad frequency less than 5.